What is up, everybody? Ninja Nick here with 420 Gamer TV, bringing you a One Piece Theory video. Now, it's been a while since I've actually done one, and I actually wanted to touch up on this because, well, lots of people go, well, because if you watch One Piece from the beginning all the way up to, you know, where they are now in it, which is getting ready for them to start really throwing down with Big Mom and everything else, which is getting pretty interesting. But what is the will of D? What exactly does that mean? What is the D? Why are there so many people and different races who have the will of D? And I mean, you know, the initial D. And what I mean is, number one case in point, I mean, you've already met, you know, Monkey D. Luffy, Monkey D. Garp, and that's all on one side, you know, Dragon and all that. Now, you know that Law is a D, considering, you know, Trafalgar D, Water Law, something like that. But he has a D, not to mention the giant who helped Robin out. He was a D. And the thing is, he was also part human. So, okay, that's where it comes from. But the thing is, where does that come? Where does the will of D literally come from? What is it? What does it mean? Now, what we know about it, right? We know anyone with the initial D is a survivor of the Ancient Kingdom from when it got attacked and overthrown and pretty much dismantled from the inside out. And we know that it was because of Marshall D. Teach's family who actually did it. What, Noah? I love you too, buddy. My son. But we know that it was Marshall D. Teach's family, his descendants, who pretty much caused the collapse of the Ancient Kingdom. We know that, you know, Joy Boy was the king, or at least we assume he was the king of the Ancient Kingdom, and doubt his name was Joy Boy, but if it was King Joy Boy, hey, whatever. Kind of makes sense with One Piece. But what if, you know, the D is the actual family name, you know, like the last name? And what if, you know, the whole point of just taking it and just putting it into a, you know, just one kind of lettering, D, what if that's, you know, to symbolize, you know, destiny? That's kind of what I think it means. One other person kind of means dethroned, but I think it might mean destiny, considering the fact that, you know, the will of destiny will always prevail, will always go on, because whoever's destined to prevail and do what they need to do can do it. One case in point, Roger was destined to find the One Piece and become Pirate King. He did that. Destiny. Law, you know, he actually kind of noticed this. He felt that he was destined to find the actual person who will be the next Pirate King, but not only the next Pirate King, but the one person who could and might actually overthrow the actual world government. And he believes that's Luffy, who is also a D. And so what if the D kind of symbolizes destiny? I'm not saying that's what, you know, it might actually be or anything else, but what if the will part is what it means, the will of destiny? Now, the actual meaning of the D, I do believe it actually has some connection to the Ancient Kingdom and their name on who they used to be. And then they just took up, you know, different names. Like, you know, the Monkey Branch. Like, you know, each family, there's probably so many branch families, you know, that may lead to the main tree, if you know what I mean. So, we know that. We know that the Ancient Kingdom hadn't put all the poneglyphs on every single country that was aligned with them, meaning Zou, Alabasta, and a few other places, not to mention, you know, Fishman Island. So, and we do know that the people of Wano were the ones who originally were conscribed, or, you know, asked to actually write on the poneglyphs. Now, most people forgot that there's two poneglyphs on Alabasta. There was the one that Robin and Crocodile were looking for, which was a completely and totally useless one. But then there's also the one that Luffy and Zoro and I believe Usopp accidentally found. in Alabasta. It was buried underneath a whole slew of sand. I can't quite remember what color it was. I definitely have to rewatch that episode. But watch the Alabasta arc, where they're actually in Alabasta, get into it, and trying to get to Alabarn and all that. They find an actual poneglyph, and before Luffy and the crew even know what a poneglyph is, like literally, it was just like, hey, what's this thing? And Luffy even said, hey, you know, I kind of feel something. But we know that Joy Boy was the one who had them all made and placed in key locations. And these key locations were actual kingdoms that were once aligned with the Ancient Kingdom before it got dethroned and taken over by what we now know is the world government. Some people believe that the world government, before it became the world government, was its own pirate crew. I don't think that. I think they were more of soldiers from, you know, the Celestial Dragons who came down because the Celestial Dragons saw Earth as its jewel and they wanted to take over everything and have control, which is what they got. But we know that. Now, the Will of D, like, literally could absolutely mean anything. It could mean destiny, it can mean dethrone, it could literally mean absolutely anything. And I do believe that here soon, we're going to actually start figuring it out why there's certain people who actually have it. You know what I mean? Because, not to mention, if the world government knows that anyone with the initial D is a descendant of the Ancient Kingdom, then why haven't they hunted them down? Or done anything with them? Maybe because they're waiting for that one person, like literally that literal one person, who can actually, you know, activate or use what they're wanting to gain control of, and then, you know, quickly use them or whatever. Which is why someone, I believe, the world government, probably a specific Gorosei, is giving Blackbeard, Marshal D. Teach, certain amount of information about Devil Fruit powers, Devil Fruit people, and, you know, how to steal them, and how to transfer, and the fact that, you know, why is it that he can have more than one Devil Fruit, but technically, a person shouldn't be allowed to have more than one. You're not even supposed to be able to take another person's Devil Fruit unless, you know, they literally die and the fruit transfers somewhere else. But I have a theory video on that, and it's actually about Blackbeard's knife, and it's pretty badass. But anyways, that's literally it about this video, just talking about the Will of D and what I believe it is. I believe it's the will of destiny, and destiny can never be stopped by nobody, it don't matter. If something's destined to happen, it's gonna happen. And I think that's what the Will of D stands for, that's what that means, and I think it's a kind of a double meaning. Eventually we're gonna find out what, you know, the actual D is. You know, and I do believe it deals with what the Ancient Kingdom's name used to be. Kingdom or the king's name. Not Joy Boy, you know, it'd be Joy Boy, whatever. Much like, you know, when we find out what that D for Monkey D. Luffy will be. Which will be quite interesting. And I kind of hope we do find out the fish man who is D. It'd be pretty, I mean, come on now, it'd be sick. But anyways, I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. Watch my other theory videos that I have. I have one on the 3 royal kings of the pirate crew. That's not what it's called, but I do believe Sanji, Zoro, and Luffy all could be some kind of king. But anyways, this is it for the video. I hope you all have a great day, great night, great evening, all that great shit. Catch me for my next video, guys. Later.